everybody, to Gen X Living Life. My name is Maggie.
And I'm Penny.
And today, Penny and I are going to talk about the uh, angst of the firstborns, which I'm a firstborn, and so is Penny.
Hmm.
Not
And
only that, but we're
yeah.
firstborn daughters, which is also,
Yeah. And we have younger brothers.
and we have younger brothers. So,
Yeah.
although I love my brother. But
Yeah.
this is from my recollection point of view when I was young, when I was a kid, looking back the way that I felt. I don't
Mhm.
feel that way now, but the way that I felt at the time as a kid. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
before we get into that, I'd like to ask a favor. Would you please hit the like and subscribe? We really could use your support in getting our channel rolling. And that's really the only way I think that the algorithm will start carrying our channel along is in order to get some likes and subscriptions. So we'd appreciate it if you would just take a second and do that. And here we go. Thank you.
Yeah. So, how many years younger is your brother than you?
He is almost 4 years younger than me.
My brother is 5.5 years, almost 6 years
Ah,
younger. So
okay.
there's a big difference in our age.
So you were a kindergartner by the time he came, or first grader even when he came along,
Yeah, like
right?
kindergarten. Yeah, I was probably first grade. Yeah, my mom's pregnant in kindergarten and then first grade. And I remember my first memory of him, he came home. Well, first I was told I had a little brother, like I woke up in someone else's house, like my like babysitter, family friend's house. And they're like, "Oh, you have a little brother." I was like, "Okay," and then when they brought him home and and I was noticing he was getting all the attention. I had all the attention for like, 5.5 years. And I was
Hmm.
like, let me sit on him.
Yes. I felt the same way too. E
So I sat
Everything
on
was
him.
wonderful until he came along, and next thing I know, I was a chopped liver after that.
So,
Oh, man. Same
yeah,
girl,
because
same.
I wasn't, I didn't know what to expect, of course, as a child. But then you realize, like, hey, wait a minute. Because you're supposed to be excited about little brother, but, you don't know what's coming, right?
At that age, you really don't understand the concept
Hmm. Yeah.
of what a little brother really means. You
Hmm.
think it's temporary, that they're there for a little while, maybe visiting or something like that, and then
Yeah.
they're going to go home.
Right,
You just
right.
don't realize that home is now in the place you used to sleep in. Because
Hmm.
I slept in the crib, I remember,
Oh, right.
until the baby came along, and then suddenly I'm not in there anymore, and I'm in
It's
a
like
bed, and I was like, "What just happened?
so many
What?
changes, big
What?
changes, right?
What's that in my bed?" Shh, be quiet. And then I couldn't do anything. I
Hmm.
couldn't do anything right. I was just too loud, too rambunctious, always noisy. And then the baby would cry. And so all the attention went on the baby.
Yeah.
Eventually I came to love him, but not at first. At first I was displaced,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah, I
So, but
know.
yeah, I was just, reminiscing of the golden years I had that I barely could remember, but it was just me.
Yeah, and then we had to fight for our parents' attention at that point, right? We had to figure out what do we do? How do we, we don't have any attention anymore. What do we do? You know.
Mhm.
But my mom kind of tried to keep me engaged. Like, she wanted me to sing like Rockabye Baby to my little brother
Mhm.
and hold and it worked. It actually worked. It would just take a few minutes and he would fall asleep. So that was my job to sing to
Yeah.
him.
Oh, that's nice. I don't remember what my mom had me do. Of course, I was much, much younger,
Yeah, that's
so
true.
my
Yeah.
memory is a little bit fuzzy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was probably clumsy, but I mean, I could, hold the bottle, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
that kind of stuff, and bring the diaper, that kind of stuff. So I helped out that way, whatever I
Yeah.
could. I
Yeah.
don't think I could really talk much yet. I did.
Right.
Well, I was almost 4. Yeah, I
Yeah,
could
you would have
talk.
been talking. You would have
I
been
was
voicing
talking.
your displeasure.
Yeah, yeah. So, but after that, the expectations go from, oh, you're a cute little baby to now it's like you're graduated to an assistant
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
position. So you went from no responsibility to responsibility.
Yeah, yeah, and you're responsible for like watching them or keeping them out of trouble if they started crawling around and stuff. It's like watch them, and it's like, what do you mean watch him? Like, what am I supposed to do and do what?
Well, it's like you're setting the example for them now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you couldn't be yourself anymore. You had to be you had to be good, you had to be quiet, you had
Mm-hmm.
to be obedient. I mean, as much as a preschooler could be,
Mm-hmm.
um, that kind of stuff. Cooperative. I don't know if I was ever a cooperative little kid or not.
Well, I don't know. How are you as an adult? Are you cooperative?
I
I'm
am. If I want to get
kidding.
paid, I got to cooperate, I guess. If I have to live amongst society, I have to be a
Yeah.
bit cooperative. But it's all of a sudden you go from playing to
Yeah.
now helping and
Yeah.
setting an example.
Right, right. Plus, it's like this kid has like special treatment. It's like, oh, don't do that. It's gonna hurt them, because they're
You're
smaller.
Yes, they're small and
They're
you're
younger.
big. And so give them your thing so that they could be quiet.
Yeah.
That happened. I was like, I had to give up my favorite toy
Oh no.
to so they could stop crying. And I was like, what about my thing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's all right. You'll get it back. Never got it back.
Yeah.
Never got it back. It wasn't my brother though. It was
Sibling, like
uh,
a younger family
a
member.
younger relative. Yeah.
Mm.
So, but I
Mm.
was like, so you have to sacrifice your stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you're attached to it. Your parents aren't attached to it, but it's your thing. Why are you having to give it away?
Yeah, so then I have to give it away. Well, s- so I'll never forget this one time. I was given as a gift by one of my aunts or uncles $1.
Mm,
Okay,
mhm.
and so my brother was crying and he wanted $1. He wanted to hold it, and so I thought I'd share. So I split it in half and I gave him the half. And my mother came undone because I tore it in half. I'm like, I wanted to share. And she just screamed at me, what are you doing? I'm like, okay, I thought I was doing the
You're
right
right.
thing.
Yeah, we don't know, right?
Oh my God, I didn't
Yeah.
know. So you get yelled at for everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah,
that's
it's true.
that's another thing. You get yelled at. And somehow you're at the heat of the moment, you're expected to know things.
Uh-huh. Right. It's like right, like go watch your brother and like what do I do? That's what I'm saying. It's like, and then when you do something wrong, it's like, well, you were supposed to know like how? How am I
Yeah, if
supposed
they
to
if
know?
they yeah, if they fall off the couch or whatever, I was like,
I
"Well, I
don't
was
know.
watching. I watched them fall down." I'm like, it's like the instinct's not there yet.
Mhm. Mhm.
But, it's like no matter what they do, if something happens to them, you're in trouble.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it kind of forces us to grow up a little quicker, and there's like high expectations for us to also be high achievers. Like they put all their energy into us, like, you got to do well in school, all that. And then they kind of ignore the younger kid. But it's like, it's like, I don't think I'm the one that needs to be pushed here. I mean, what about him? Like,
Yeah, all the energy is focused
yeah,
on the oldest.
right, right. And then we're supposed
They're
to push them too, like the kids. I don't know. But,
Yeah, they're into leadership
mm-hmm.
position in
Yeah,
the household, as a little,
yeah,
I don't know, sergeant or something.
yeah.
Just, watching over, making sure they're okay. Make sure it's like,
Very responsible. You have to be super
yeah,
responsible in the of everybody else in the
mhm,
very young age.
at a very
Yeah.
young age. And it's kind of, it is what it is. They have a word that they coined recently. It's parentifying the
Kids.
child. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't, but it makes
Parentification.
sense. Yeah.
of your kid,
Yeah.
which is the oldest sibling syndrome, that
Mm.
they're the ones that have to be the responsible one, be the helper, make sure that the younger siblings are
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I think that
I
makes
don't
us
know if,
bossy too,
hmm?
because we're labeled as bossy by our younger sibling. When we do
Well,
stuff like that, that's how we're labeled.
yeah, but we're given marching orders by our mother.
True, true.
Father, not so much. The father's busy working.
Hmm.
The control over the house is over the with the mom, and then the mom just, it's like, okay,
Delegates to you.
delegates to you. It's like one day you'll be a mom, and you'll need to know how to do this. I'm like, yeah, but we're talking 20 years away.
I know,
I'm in
right?
training now for that, so
Oh my God. Did your
I'm
mom have
6.
younger siblings? Was your mom the oldest too, or was she?
She's the second oldest, so
Oh,
she had
okay.
younger siblings. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom was a middle child. So she
Okay.
was kind of, I guess, ignored. So
She
as they
probably she
say,
probably got to do a lot of things, got away with a lot of things.
yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
No, I think she's the oldest daughter,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm,
second child,
yeah.
those her older sibling it was a brother, a
Mm-hmm.
male. So
Mm-hmm.
she probably had to do a lot of
Yeah.
um help and everything. And all in all, she had I think 5 younger siblings
Wow, that's a
after that.
lot.
And so she was tasked with helping, and she told me one time she remembers asking her mother, "It's like, why do you keep having kids? Why do you keep having
It's
babies?"
like,
Because besides the siblings, there were siblings that were born and died at childbirth
mm,
or died in infancy, that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah,
Which she helped out too. But it's like, "God, when are you gonna
yeah.
stop?"
Yeah, right. It's like, can we like stop here? There's like enough
Because
of us.
'Cause you're a built-in
Hmm.
babysitter slash nanny,
Oh yeah, all the time.
slash
Yeah.
mother's helper and, you know, tutor,
Hmm.
um,
Everything.
even helping get meals together,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
everything.
yeah, I have no idea what younger siblings feel like.
I know.
Um,
Yeah.
I'll never know,
In
and
my mind, I was like, they have it easy. They have it so easy.
probably
In my mind. Yeah.
yeah, and they probably wonder why we are the way we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I actually asked my mom once, why are you making me do this? Why don't you make my brother do it? She goes, because you're responsible and you're going to do it right. And I'm like, he can do it right too. He's just as intelligent. Why don't we give it a try? It's like, but it's just easier just to tell me and to do it and just, bypass, just like, just do it.
I also think at the time, I don't know about today, but at the time, it was a societal thing.
Probably.
Um,
Yeah.
it was the girl
Hmm.
that got the responsibility.
And yeah, I had to do things and do it right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so they didn't bother trying to
Hmm.
train
Yeah. Yeah.
the the son to
Hmm.
to do any of that stuff. So
Or maybe he was so smart that he messed it up. So then my mom was like, "No, I'm not gonna bother with him. I'm just gonna let her do it." Maybe I should have just messed it up.
I tend to think that for the time it was society.
Yeah.
It was the way that it was.
Yeah.
Um, Now it's like, they'll feign, and that's like a crafty thing.
Hmm.
They'll feign ignorance so that the way they don't do it. They're like, okay, I'll do it myself, that kind of thing. I'm too tired
That's
to
so funny.
teach you or let your sister teach you or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And the one thing I remember, even our ages were kind of wide apart, but if I would go hang out with my friends, then what does that mean? My brother is home needing to be taken care of. My mom would be like, just take your brother with you. And I'm like a 13-year-old with a 5-year-old. And then he's not really having fun because we're doing older stuff. And then like I'm kind of like, well, I have to bring my brother.
So you got to bring it down to his level
Yeah, because he's not gonna
every
have any
time.
fun. Yeah, it's like he'll be like, I'm bored. I want to go
Why
play
don't
video
you
games.
include it? Why
you
don't
know,
why don't you take them to the birthday party with all, with your friends? And I was like,
there's no
because,
kids.
well, I mean, it's not for the brothers. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
for the friends,
Yeah, yeah.
So, so you always had to have them tag
Yeah,
along.
I mean, I don't mind having him with me. It's just he's not going to have fun, right? And he's going to be like wanting to do something else, but my mom doesn't want to watch him.
But then again, also you can't have fun because
Right,
then
that too. Yeah.
you
Hmm.
don't want them to run off
Yeah. Yeah.
or get lost or something. So you kind of have one eye on them, and so
Yeah.
you can't relax and have
Yeah.
a good time, you
Yeah.
know. So listen, there's no disparity against my brother. Is just the way
It's
it
just the
is.
way it is. It's just, yeah,
I
it's
love
just the way
him.
it
I love him very much. I adore him, and we get along great. But it was just that's
is.
the
The way it
feeling of
was.
an older sibling, of
Hmm.
the oldest sibling,
Yeah. Yeah.
typically. And I admit I'm guilty of that as well.
So you've
Doing
done
that
that
to
to your
myself.
boys?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Um, and if you want you wonder why it's probably hard or harder just having one child is because you're doing it by yourself. But if you have additional children, that oldest child, unfortunately, the way that the chips fall, they're your helper. They're
Yeah.
your helper.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
just the way. Well, I only have one child, so
Right.
he's
So
a
I know you've often asked me, so how do you do it with three? And I said,
yeah. I
I have
always ask you
help.
that.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I guess when it's one child, they're like the oldest child, but they don't have any other siblings, you know.
no, but the responsibility falls on you entirely.
Yeah.
And so that, you don't have any breaks.
True.
When you
That's
have
true.
when you have if you had younger
They could
kids,
play together.
after that, then, they could play together and that
Hmm.
kind of stuff, entertain each other, and
Yeah.
you can do whatever you gotta do, clean the
True,
oven or
true.
whatever, do
Yeah.
laundry or something, that kind of thing. So,
Yeah. I have a lot of
it's
yeah, I know. I have a lot of half siblings actually, on my dad's side. So I actually have older siblings in Thailand that I only met like two of them. They're all older than me, but here in the United States, I'm the oldest one, and I have a lot of half younger siblings. And there were times where we were like, when we were young, we were together, like here and there, but I was still had to be responsible, not only for my own little brother, but like someone, I mean, I still thought of them as my siblings, I didn't really
mhm,
think anything of it, but yeah, sometimes it could get hairy and sometimes we'd fight, but that's just how it is.
that's normal.
Yeah.
That is entirely normal.
Yeah. It's
So,
fun though. We survived. All of us survived. A little bit scathed, a little bit
mhm.
scarred and traumatized, but
Oh, yeah, yeah. Nah, it's all good, it's all good.
yeah.
Hopefully, for the majority of the people who have this syndrome, all was good at the end, and you still have a loving relationship with your siblings, like I do with mine and like Penny does with hers. But, please share your stories and let us know if we were on target or if there's anything we missed. Anyway, we will say goodbye for now, and
Yeah.
I hope to see you next time. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.